All right, guys. So welcome to our little cooking demo today, and today we're going to be doing a salad. Okay, so actually we're going to do two salads. One is going to be a salad with shrimp, and the other one is going to be what are we doing?
Goat cheese croutons.
Perfect. And we're going to talk a little bit. Kirsty's going to explain exactly what that is and how she's done that. Really cool technique. And then we're also going to be making a lemon vinaigrette. Okay, very simple. You could change it out. You could do apple cider vinegar and all that, but we're going to show you our recipe and our ingredients. And then what we did was we went into the actual cooler and we looked around and said, okay, what do we have? Because that's really what this video is really about, is about showing you that you can actually go in and take a look at what's in your fridge and come up with a really cool salad. So we had some strawberries, we had a peach, we had cucumber, and we had lemon. So hence lemon vinaigrette. And then we talked about, okay, so, Kirsty and I were talking about, okay, the peach, right? What's the perfect peach? Obviously, you want to look at the texture, okay? And you want to make sure that it is soft to touch, okay? You make an incision, there's pretty much, it shows you where you want to go. Make an incision all the way around, practicing again, very safe. With the knife, you don't hold it in your hand and do it with a knife like I've seen some people do. You put it flat down on the board, and you do it this way, and then you just pull it apart, and then you can remove the stone. And then all we're going to do then is we just sliced it for our purposes, for the salad. English cucumber, I find that the skin can be a little bit on the, texture-wise, I don't really care for it. So we've peeled it, and then we've taken the seeds out and just had it just presented like this. And all that we did with the strawberries, again, we just washed the strawberries. Everything should be washed, obviously, okay? And then sliced them, okay? So Kirsty, what was the magic you did with the goat cheese?
The goat cheese, so I just took regular goat cheese and I formed them into little crouton shapes. They look kind of like little gnocchis. And what I did was I floured, egg washed, and then I put a cornflake crust around the outside instead of breadcrumbs. It makes it a little bit more crunchy and the inside stays nice and soft. I added garlic powder, salt, pepper, and fresh parsley to the cornflake crumb, and it came out really crunchy and good.
So the other thing, what did you do? Did you fry it or did you bake it?
I did not fry it. I ended up baking it at 350. It takes about 3-4 minutes. But if you wanted to, if you have an air fryer at home, you can always do it at that same temperature, 350 to 375 for 3 to 4 minutes, and it still has that really crunchy outside that you're looking for.
Perfect. Now, also, if you wanted to do it and you wanted to fry it, because you just like the idea of doing that, you can also do like flour, egg wash, breadcrumb, but you want to do a technique that we call double breading. Okay, so you would do flour, egg wash, breadcrumb, and then you would egg wash it again, and then breadcrumb it again. This way it's going to stay even crunchier, and the goat cheese won't explode. And so you don't want that to happen in your fryer. Okay? So the last thing we're going to talk about real quick on the salad is, this is the salad we're going to show you is a shrimp. So we've done it as 1620 shrimp. We got these, and these are peeled and deveined, and I'll just try to put them here at the camera so you can see it. And they have a tail still attached. Okay? And for this purpose, we don't want to have a tail, like this tail, we don't want you to be having that on your salad, so we've removed it. It's very easy to do, as you can see, but you certainly don't want to have that in your salad, and somebody goes ahead and tries to eat it. So, and then we're going to show you, we're just going to sear the shrimp off in a little bit of olive oil. Again, it's a quick sear. Normally I would only use canola or grapeseed or vegetable oil, but for this purpose, I like the flavor. We're not going high heat, so it's going to be a very simple, olive oil, and then a nice sear, salt and pepper, and that's it. So when we come back, we're going to put the lemon vinaigrette together, and we're going to make some salads. Welcome back. So what we're going to do now is, Kirsty's going to show you exactly how to bread these amazing goat cheese croutons.
Yes. So I had already formed some so that way you guys can see how I did it. So I have these in little gnocchi shapes. So the first thing you want to do, make sure you wear gloves, of course, but you want to keep one hand out of the egg wash mix, so that way the egg wash doesn't stick to your gloves and you can keep that clean, and it makes a lot nicer of a crouton. So the first thing you want to do is dip it into the flour mixture, which I added salt and pepper, and then you go into your egg wash. You want to make sure you completely coat it, and then from there into your breadcrumb mix, or your, in my case, cornflake mix. And use that same glove that you used for the flour and just nicely toss this. You don't have to double coat it if you're not putting it into a fryer, but if you are, I would suggest double coating. And then it comes out perfect little croutons.
They look perfect. Beautiful. All right, guys, so next thing we're gonna do is the lemon vinaigrette. So the way I do this, and one thing I always tell people, the most flavor in the lemon is always gonna be in this part right here. So take this beautiful thing. If you don't have one, I suggest you go buy one. It's a microplane, one of the best inventions ever. So we just take some of the rind off, put it into the bowl. Now, what we're doing with this one is obviously we got fresh squeezed lemon juice, and I think I've mentioned it in another video where if you actually take the actual lemon, if you put it into the microwave and you turn it on for about 15-20 seconds, you'll actually get about 60 to 70% more juice from it, as opposed to just trying to do it when it's cold. Because you take it out of the icebox, you start doing this old technique, and then squeezing, you'll never get as much out. So doing that is a little trick that we've done. Lemon juice. And this is actually a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Now you don't have to do this if you don't want to. This recipe that it calls for it, so we're going to add it to it. Apple cider vinegar. Now you've got a lot of acid going on, so one of the things you need to definitely do is kind of offset that a little bit. So we've done honey. You could do agave if you want. That's probably the best way to do it. And again, this is a lot of honey here. I think it's a little too much on that recipe, Christy, but we changed that recipe a little bit, and then from there we're going to go with some. You can use shallots. We've done Bermuda onion. Okay, if you don't want the onion, you don't have to do the onion. It's not the end of it. That goes in like that. And then Dijon mustard, whole grain. You can use a whole grain mustard or Dijon mustard, whichever. I just like Dijon. Okay, and one of the things with when you add the mustard and the honey, you'll be able to emulsify the dressing, which is kind of the cool thing. What we're trying to do is to make it all combined, but you can also just whisk it real quick. And again, olive oil, extra virgin, first cold pressed, that's what we're going to use. A little bit of parsley. Again, you could change it if you don't want parsley, you want cilantro, you want some different herbs, you can certainly whatever you feel like you want to add. Salt to taste. Again, if you don't want to add salt, you don't like salt, that's fine, you don't need to put it in. And some pepper, okay? And then all we're going to do here is just combine these ingredients, drizzle the olive oil in, and if you have a NutriBullet or a VitaPrep and you want to make a big batch of this dressing, you can certainly do that, multiply the recipe by 10 times, then you got dressing for the entire week, okay? And I like using lemon juice, especially because I think it's a great flavor, number one. Not as acidic as some of the actual vinegars you find out there. And again, you'll find that this actually will emulsify. And I know it's probably hard to see that on the video there, but you'll see it on here. It's like emulsified dressing. By pureeing it inside one of those a NutriBullet or something like that, it'll just become very much emulsified, almost like a thicker consistency, which is actually a pretty cool way of doing it. And that's it. So that part of the video. Next time when we come back, we're going to show you how the actual beautiful goat cheese was done, and also shrimp. All right, guys. So we're back with the last part of this. Actually, we're going to do the marinade on the shrimp. So again, what we're going to do is a little bit of olive oil. We're going to do a little salt, and we're going to do some pepper. Now, the biggest thing, you can leave it just like that. You can add some fresh herbs if you want. Fresh thyme would be a great suggestion here. Again, I love the lemon, a little bit of lemon zest. I don't want to do the actual juice of the lemon so much because I don't want to cure the actual shrimp, because if I'm going to marinate this overnight or before I go to work in the morning and I want to come home and have this amazing shrimp salad, I don't want to have it be where I put lemon juice in it and all of a sudden I come back and it's already cooked because it's cured now. So simple, how those croutons doing there, chef? And that's pretty much it. And the next part of this video, we're going to show you a quick sear on the shrimp, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to plate both salads. So, oh, beautiful. So these again, Kirsty, were baked, right? So
yes.
Just right in the oven.
Yep, so these were the raw ones. You can't really see from that distance,
No.
I guess. But these ones are
They
nice
look
and
the same.
crunchy. They do look the exact same, except the one that is
we
cooked
assure you they're crunchy.
It is a little darker and it is crunchy.
Take our word for it.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, guys, so welcome back to the last part of the video, which is the most exciting piece, which will be the assembly. So, Kirsty, you're going to talk about the process that you follow, right?
Yes.
Which more especially is what?
Seasoning. You always want to make sure you're seasoning your greens before you add any of your final products, so the strawberries and everything like that, because you want the greens to taste like something. You don't want just plain bitter greens. So just add salt and pepper to taste.
And granted, you've already seasoned this as well,
Yes.
so you don't have to be too crazy with the salt. Okay, and one of the things that we'll talk about as well real quick is that as you add the dressing to the salad, you know, the tendency that we have with dressing is to put way too much in, okay? And if you find at the very end of when you've actually made the salad, if there's dressing on the bottom, then you've overdressed it. So it's just something to be conscious of. It's way better to underdress at the beginning and then add more as you need to. So go ahead, Chris.
So before I add any of the vinaigrette, I like to add a little bit of my ingredients inside, just so that way you kind of get a feel of, you know, you don't want too much mixture to, you know, peaches and everything. So I add a little bit of peaches, a little bit of strawberries, and a little bit of cucumber. And you never want, so we're doing the goat cheese crouton in here. You don't want to add the goat cheese crouton inside before you do all the vinaigrette and everything, because then it's going to be salty and salty.
Yeah.
It's gonna be soggy, and you don't want a soggy crouton.
Well, that's because you worked so hard on actually
Yeah.
making it crispy, which is the reason you did it the way you did.
Yep.
Unlike the shrimp, which I can certainly go ahead and add the shrimp in, which I will. Okay, so as soon as you get your dressing in there, I'll start assembling this one. So unlike Chrissy, who was using small sprinkles, I'm just going to go with the whole shebang. Okay, and again, you can change up these ingredients for anything you want. The most important thing is make salads that you like. Okay, and summertime it should be light. You don't want, you know, when you're having guests from over the house, have something that's actually going to be fun, exciting for them. We've also done one other thing that we didn't say at the beginning. We had some nice little piece of bread lying around, and we just seared it off to make it a little crunch. And as we plate up that, I'll show you exactly how that's going to look. So again, small amount of dressing. I'm going to go ahead and put the shrimp in with this right now, which is fine. And you don't want to get in there and start really squishing the lettuce, right? You don't want to do that. You want to be very light. I don't like to see people going in with tongs and really just going like that, because it just breaks up the lettuce, and you don't want to do that. And then you're just going to go ahead, put everything on the plate.
And since I just plated my salad, I'm gonna now add the croutons on top, so that way they don't get soggy. And you just kind of assemble it wherever you want it. Each bite you want a crouton.
So if you're in a restaurant, I mean, a lot of times, you know, the recommendation that I would always have would be to make sure that the people actually see the item that's the most important piece, which is the shrimp in my case. Obviously for Kirsty, it's the croutons. Lastly, just a little piece of crunch as well for my salad, because it doesn't really have anything. You do have the croutons, of course, and a little bit on the side. And there's some beautiful salads. Beautiful shrimp salad with peaches, cucumber, and strawberries, lemon vinaigrette.
Yep.
And
And
beautiful
then
goat cheese.
a beautiful goat cheese.